I was
know.
I
Very.
had a mate in the studio with me for the last couple of days, and we were talking about AI music. And
Mm,
he's a classically trained pianist. He's insanely good jazz pianist as well.
hmm
And he has a project that is like a purely piano music on Spotify. And he had the conversation. His management had the conversation with him the other day that like there's literally AI that's creating music that like playlist music, like background music, like on the playlist
Mm.
of like study and chill, and that
Yeah, like
Spotify,
ambient, right?
yeah, and that Spotify are creating AI techniques or AI technologies to create this music, so it then takes out the artist side of it.
Mm.
And we are at that point now where music, I don't think it will always take over, but music and art will be taken over by the robots. There,
For
there,
sure.
there will be a point.
Like everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah. I completely agree. I mean, wasn't there like a couple of years ago the first algorithm like AI that was ever signed, I think, to Sony,
yeah,
and that algorithm was making like this ambient music that was
mm,
perfect for all these Spotify like study playlists or
yeah,
whatever, and like made so much just money and rights and everything that it made sense for Sony to sign that AI.
yeah,
And I think that now, like nowadays, I was just talking to a friend about it, and she's working like in the AI field. She told me that the songs, like because voices are now even so easy to
yeah,
emulate, like it's not only no longer just restricted to ambient music,
no,
which was always easier for me to understand
mm,
because that does follow kind of like a pattern and everything.
yeah,
But like now, if you open it up to all genres, like that's gonna completely revolutionize everything. But I do think that humans want to see humans. So I think the music
yeah,
side, okay, like maybe we'll have AIs composing hit songs or whatever.
yeah,
But I feel like just like having a face to the music, having an artist to embody the music, to express themselves through the music and to communicate with their fan base. I think that's not going to go anywhere so soon. I mean,
mm,
there are AI models and everything nowadays on Instagram too,
it's
right? But
crazy.
I feel like this human element, like if it's too perfect, if it's just not real, like if it's too technical, I don't think humans connect with it the same way they do with real humans.
I totally agree, and I was saying to him about feelings and how like realistically can an AI feel real emotions, because the emotions they are being taught are based on human
Mm,
interactions and what the humans are kind of teaching them. So it's
yeah.
like I feel like music is very feeling based, and how it makes the artist feel when they're creating it, and also how it makes the listener feel when they're listening to it.
Yeah.
And I think you need a feeling to start a record and to finish a record. And I don't know if you can emulate that, but no one, an AI has never been broken up with by their boyfriend or girlfriend, if you know what I mean. Like they've never experienced that feeling of like lostness or whatever makes you write music or
Yeah.
create art or whatever it is. And I think that's the one thing is that people will still want to connect with, is that there's going to be tech companies
Wouldn't
such,
you
go
wouldn't
on.
you say that like I mean there's so much content specifically about a breakup, let's just say like lyrical content
Yeah.
and like so much that any AI I feel like even if it's just regurgitating what's already out there, like don't you think that that whole thing of feeling at
Formu-
least lyrically,
yeah, yeah. Lyrically and formulaically, yes.
but not
100%.
as expression wise?
100%, but not as an expression, and not like not being able to really feel that real. Like, yes, they're going to be able to make a record like Adele. 100%. They probably already can. And they can probably
Yeah.
put Adele's voice on there. Like, like, with all the deep fake stuff, they can do pretty much anything. Is it really going to ever be as good? I don't know. I don't know. It probably sonically, yes, but I just don't think it will truly have that real human feeling.
think the storytelling is important, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Adele, like of course, her songs are amazing,
Yeah.
but like the whole stories around them, just like the personality factor,
totally.
if that hadn't been there,
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have been received as like emotionally as they were.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think for me, I don't know about you, but when I listen to music, that's all I'm trying to get is a feeling from the music, or how can I attach that song to a feeling or a memory or something like that. And that's kind of the only, if I'm writing music, it's like, how does this make me feel, and how do I want this to make other people feel?
Yeah.
And in the moment or whatever like that. And I just, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm jaded, or naive, but
I feel like in dance music, it could be easier because it is it's like, I always have this, I wouldn't say issue, but this, like, it's always a compromise, I think, between combining both artistic, like, expression with just functionality, because at the end of the day, like, it needs to work on the dance floor. And I can see that, like, maybe that would make, AIs making dance music a little more feasible than writing pop ballads like Adele did. Does.
With who?
I just said like Adele does.
Okay, yeah. I don't know though, because I think pop songs are very formulaic as well. You have like verse, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, or something like that. It's very like, if you listen to a lot of the pop records, they all use very similar chords. They all use like those power chords, and it's very like the classic like boy band, like they all have that, like back in the like early 2000s, they all had that key change after the first chorus, if you know what I mean. It was just very formulaic.
But I think the storytelling aspect is more important, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I hope they don't recreate that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
We're fucked if it does. We are absolutely fucked if it does.
I mean, I feel like before AI takes over like the creative like field, it'll take over everything else, like automating. I feel like anything else is so much easier to automate, any other profession.
Yeah.
So
it's
I feel
crazy.
like the creative like sector, like I feel like we might be the last one standing, and then eventually maybe we'll also be taken over. But that's just my wishful thinking that maybe this is the one thing that they can't take from us just yet.
The tech world's mad. I've got another project that I'm working on, and it deals with AI to a certain extent, and it's mad what it can do. Like you can literally have a conversation with it. Like you can have a text conversation with it, and I can text it, and it can literally respond back how I want it to respond, as long as you give it the right messages. And you're like, fucking, this is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And like the whole service industry, like even lawyers and doctors, which are, stereotypically like the safest jobs and like the safest like things to go to college for and, go into debt for. I feel like those are the first ones that are going to be just completely taken over by AI.
Do you think doctors will be?
I think so. Because I mean, would you rather be like, if it was like a, like a very dangerous surgery, and it was like, you had to be very, take a very thin needle and like cut a very thin, like it's all super tiny. Would you rather have like a shaky 60-year-old, like, doctor's hand performing that, or a robot with like ultimate precision and everything? Like I'd choose the robot for sure.
I agree with that, but then I don't know, like GP, like general practitioner doctor, like I Google shit when I think I've got something wrong with me, and it always turns out to be the worst. So it's like,
always just tells you, okay, you're gonna die tomorrow.
Literally. So it's like,
So
it's like, do I trust a computer? Because all they're just going to be doing is Googling, and it's like, oh, you have this, this, and this.
That's true.
You're going to die tomorrow.
I mean, I have like my cousin, she's a doctor, and she, like, the stuff she tells me is like, it's so scary, because she's like, most of the time, like, we don't know what we're talking about. Like we're just trying to like calm you down. Like we have no idea.
Just winging it.
Yeah, exactly. They're just all winging it. And like, I did have a couple of I had one thing where every doctor told me something else, and in the end I did just Google, and I found like I ended up finding the one. I mean, it was like probably like a one in a million time
Yeah.
thing. But like occasionally, like even through Google, you can self-diagnose, and it is
Totally.
right.
Totally.